Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omni video, and today we are going to do a character guide on Fang. So Fang is a fairly simple character. She's a character that has pretty much, for the most part, been pretty bad in the game, but now with her C90, she does get a really nice buff to her kit. She's very, very usable now, very fun character. So if you like Fang, she's definitely worth picking up. For the average player, she's definitely not like a must-get or anything, but like if you like her, like she's good. So like she's a fun character to play. So in this video, we're going to take a look at her best artifacts. We're going to take a look at her spheres, and then we're going to just look at her kit, do a little showcase on her, and see how she does in game. So first, we're going to go ahead and take a look at her artifacts. I have not fully built out her artifacts yet. But basically, I've got one. Okay, you want three of these: Attack 108, and then the Warrior of Grand Pulse boost. So it's kind of one of those generic like C50s that like buffs your stats. So Max Brave and attack by 5%, and then attack 108. So that's the combo you want. Max Brave 330 is also decent if you want to throw that on her as well. But that's what I would do for her artifacts. And then for her spheres, now she's got like for a lot of these sphere guides, right? This part, it's usually kind of generic. Like, all right, this is what you're going for. You can choose this, or this. Once in a great while, there will be a character where I'll say, you need this specific sphere. And I feel like Fang is one of those characters where, like, yes, I want this specific sphere here. An example of that was on Lena's, like, Freya's D sphere for me was like, yes, must put that one there, right? So for A sphere, this is more generic. You just want attack or brave damage. So just look at your stuff, pick anything that's going to do attack or brave damage. The thing with Fang is she is a mix of physical and ranged. So don't give her one that's only physical or only ranged. Just give her one that's just a generic attack buff. I thought X-Death here was a pretty decent shout out just because Fang is all about debuffing. So if you're playing her correctly, the enemies should always be debuffed. So I think X-Death is actually a really decent one to use on her. And I just threw like Gilgamesh on. That's just when inflicting break, buff stuff up. There's definitely better ones than Gilgamesh, but like once again, spheres aren't like make or break for the most part, but Fang does have one on her E-Sphere. So on her E-Sphere, it does not have to be the max one. It could be a refined one, but Laguna is the one you want to use like bar none. The reason why is Fang has a very important debuff called Daze that she's going to put on the enemies. And I'll talk more about Daze in the showcase, but you want to have 100% uptime on Daze. And the way it works is it's a 3-turn debuff that will tick down every time the enemies are attacked. However, anytime Fang puts a debuff on, it like refreshes the Daze debuff. And so Fang, she has several attacks in her kit that do not debuff. Well, Laguna does a 3-turn Max Brave down debuff, and this is going to apply on every attack she does. So Laguna ensures that you can keep the Daze buff up. So if you can, within your power, I would put Laguna on her. The nice thing is in April, we should be getting Laguna's BT cycle, and there should be hopefully an opportunity to refine some spheres for Laguna if you didn't already have some. So that's what I would go with there. Now, if you don't have Laguna, then find an E-Sphere that increase attack or something like that. But Laguna is really what you want to go for on Fang. So let's go ahead. We'll hop into a showcase. So I'm going to run Garnet and Rem to pair with her just to make her look good. We are going to do the Edgar intersecting Will just because the bosses pretty much just lay down and take it. So that's what we want. We'll just do that. So let's go ahead and do this and pop in here. So the big thing with Fang is she has a Fang of Transgression buff that's going to be on it. It is a stacking buff and it maxes out at 5 stacks. You basically want to work on getting that maxed out as quickly as possible. Basically, most of her moves will increase it by 1 stack or 2 stacks if you break or attack a broken enemy. So like here we are turn 1. If we look at Fang here, you can see we have Fang of Transgression here. It's at stack 2 right now. So it's going to stack up pretty quick. And the reason why you want to get the stacks up is because it improves the buff that it gives. And then also it's going to give her the plus version of her EX. Okay. Now, the first thing you're going to know, she's going to have 2 different HP plus attacks. So she's going to go between Commando and Saboteur. This is kind of like how Lightning has 2 different stances based on Final Fantasy 13. Honestly, I never use the HP pluses with her. I'm pretty much just popping skills every time, right? So what we'll do is, sure, let's go ahead and we'll start with the LD. This is going to give, so we'll pop this off here. So basically, it's going to give her a devastation buff, and then it's just going to throw some generic debuffs down. So throwing down debuffs is always good, right? Devastation, it basically is just going to increase her damage, and then she has a new power chain buff that she gets when she launches, and just makes her launches look better. So that's the other thing so the general thing with Fang, she's a debuffing character that has the very good daze debuff, which is awesome. And then she does do some launching. She actually has 2 attacks in her kits that can launch. So if we look at the enemies here, you can see we have a daze debuff that's at 3. So this actually increases like Brave and HP damage, which is really good. And then it's also like a paralyze. So the bad thing about it though is it ticks down each time the enemies are hit, but Fang will refresh it when she debuffs. So as long as Fang is getting frequent turns and debuffing, that shouldn't fall off. So we'll let Garnet do the Aquamarine here. So you'll see we got increased damage off of that, but you can see it tick down to 2 now, right? So then let's go ahead and throw the BT attack down. So what we're going to do here on our next turn is the debuff is going to be at 1. So what I'm going to do with Rem is I'm going to swap into Fang, throw a debuff down, and it should refresh that. So we'll double check here and make sure that works correctly. So we'll do that, and I believe it should... Yep, it went down to 1. Oh, so it's going to fall off on that first enemy because they actually acted. But you can see that's how the daze works. It's like a free turn. So that's very, very nice, right? So we'll look at the enemy on the right here. So let's go ahead and... Oh, actually, you know what? The swap turns isn't going to work because Rem's follow-up is going to go. And it's going to take that buff off anyway. So that's fine. We'll still swap turns. So yeah, sure, we'll swap to Fang. Even though Fang's right there, that's fine. So we'll do that. This is going to go off. Okay. So the problem can be like if you're doing like follow-up characters or really fast characters. Oh, that didn't actually cause it to fall off. Okay, that's good. So now what we're going to do, so we did the aerial loop. So let's look at some of her other attacks. So Umbral Vice, this is her 15. Basically, this changes her to Saboteur mode, and then it just puts like a couple of like really, or just like standard debuffs. So this is a naturally debuffing attack. So let's go ahead and throw that down. So we'll throw that down. And then this should refresh. Yep, you can see the days here refreshed to 3. So we've got that. And actually, it applied it to the other enemy. So it's not just refreshing it. It's just if she has her LD buff up, like anytime she debuffs, it just puts days down. So that's really, really nice. So you want to keep that days up as much as possible. So as long as Fang is attacking like directly before an enemy, like she's going to be able to reapply the days, which is really, really good, right? And then Rem, sure, let's just pop off a big fat attack. I love Rem, by the way. I put up her character guide yesterday, which, yeah, she's really fun. Like the damage she can output is kind of crazy. And her support is really good as well. Yeah, we Siphon Sphere. I mean, so there's Rem just throwing down basically a 1-mil AoE. Pretty good. Okay. All right. And because of Rem's LD, we have actually a free turn now with Fang. So now we can use Whirlwind. So Whirlwind is an attack that normally does not debuff. So normally this would let the stacks go down on days. But because we've got the Laguna Sphere on, days should reset when we use this. And then Whirlwind is also a launch. So we can throw that off and do a launch. And it is going to add launch to the other enemies that she's not hitting as well. Oh, you know what? I'm pretty sure these enemies can't be launched. So imagine a launch happening there. Yeah, I think these enemies can't be launched. But she would launch on that, which is pretty good, right? And then we got the unable to act due to days, which is really good. So you can see Fang is actually a very good, like... She can kind of shut the enemies down because the debuffs are solid. The daze is taking away their turns, and she's launching to add damage. So she's not a bad character by any means, right? Here, with Rem, let's just throw down a free turn cure. Why not? Throw some damage down. Sure, and then let's swap into Fang. Rem might be like a staple for showcases now because I have so much control that I can just like swap back to the character I'm showcasing. I really like that. So this might be a common theme moving forward. We'll see. All right, so the enemies now no buffs on, or no debuffs on them for the days. So Fang should be able to reapply the days. So now let's go ahead and do the EX. So the EX, it's very fast charging. She'll get this off quite a bit. It's going to launch. It's going to set the other enemies up for a launch. And then if she has 5 stacks of her buff, we should have the plus version, which we do, which is really, really good. And so, yeah, let's go ahead and throw that down. And once again, this is an attack that normally does not debuff. So because we've got Laguna, this should apply daze. So we'll check for that. So throw that on. That did not apply daze. Okay, so there must be something I missed there, but we'll keep going. We'll move forward. Someone can hit me up in the comments and let me know what happened there. We'll reapply the LD. I don't know if I let a buff fall off, but I don't think I did. Oh, actually, I might die here. That would be new in a showcase to die. That would be fantastic. All right. Sweet. These guys are so mad at me doing all the showcases. They actually let me die. Hold on. Can I survive here? Bad breath? Sure. Give me the bad breath. Nice. Oh, and then she's blinded. Okay. Yeah, we'll just keep moving forward here. What I might do is let's just go into a summon. Just because I basically was done with the showcase and I don't want to re-record it, and Fang is still alive. So we'll just continue through here. So I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that we need to talk about here. I mean, she's got an AA. The AA does increase party HP damage, which is good. So it's kind of just one of those generic AAs. So sure, we'll throw that on just to say we did. And actually, that's good because I want to kind of get this blind buff off. So I'm just going to use a couple of free turns here. Get that blind buff off. Let's do her LD. So we'll throw the LD. Sorry if you're hearing my cat meow background right now, by the way. That's going to miss. That's fine. Whatever. All right. So now that blind is off, we'll LD again. Just to throw that on. So let's make sure we can reapply the daze here. Okay, there we go. We've got the daze reapplied. So what I'm going to do is let's do the EX again and just see if the daze reapplies or if it actually ticks down. Okay, so it actually ticked down. So was Laguna's not working properly for me right there? I'll have to double check that, or maybe there's something with Laguna's that I missed. Let me do a Whirlwind. Whirlwind also did not work. Oh, you know what? What it is I think it's because the enemies already have a Brave Down, because Laguna does a Brave Down, and I think because the enemies already have a Brave Down, it's not reapplying. I think that's the issue. So if I use Umbral Vice, that should reapply debuffs, and then and then it goes up. So I think that was the issue, guys. So you can let me know if I'm wrong on that, but the Laguna Sphere does work, but I think because they already had the max Brave Down, it wouldn't reapply it. I think that was the issue with that. So sure, we'll just use the EX one more time. Get a launch. I mean, not like Fang's going to solo this out. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think of Fang. Just to summarize, fairly good debuffer. Does some launching in her kit. I think that Daze debuff is a very good utility thing to have. So if you like denying turns, you like debuffing, you like a little bit of launching, I think Fang is a good character for you. So anyways, guys, it was a little bit rough in this showcase, but I think we got through it. Anyways, thanks for watching. We'll catch you all in the next one.